What's going on, guys? Mega Gig back with another video. Taking a look at the OG, the original gangster version of the Charge Barb, and the most popular version was the 6-piece Raycor's 4-piece Immortal Kings. And we're looking at, after the buffs to the Raycor set, just how good this build is. Now, we're not taking advantage of the 6-piece Immortal King set on this version. It would be insane OP if we could get both of them, but we cannot. One thing to note, the original version of this used focus and restraint. That is a restraint. That is a compass rose. There's my focus. But if you use those, you cannot take advantage of Band of Might, which is what is giving us the majority of our toughness, because you have to run a Ring of Royal Grandeur to get the 6-piece bonus of this and the 4-piece bonus of this. So if you run the Ring of Royal Grandeur in here and run the focus and restraint out here, the build largely hasn't changed other than you do more damage, but there was no real toughness buffs added into the set itself. So yeah, we've made some slight changes. We've got Band of Might here, and instead of focus and restraint, we're running a Ring of Royal Grandeur here, and we are running a Convention of Elements. I know I've seen a lot of people start to argue about Convention of Elements. I feel your pain. I wish it wasn't part of every build. It would actually be nice if focus and restraint could be used in more builds. It's used in a few, but you know, not as many as I would like. Convention of Elements, really, it works its way into nearly every build, it seems like. But yeah, this we're gonna see how good this actually is. We're running the Fury of the Vanished Peak because we are using Seismic Slam Rumble Rune as our Fury dump. A little more toughness from Ancient Parthan Defenders. A lot of enemies are going to be stunned or frozen around us because our Furious Charge, the 4-piece set bonus that gains the effect of every rune, and of course deals 1,000 increased damage. And so you get every rune here, which includes the Cold Rush rune. All enemies hit are frozen for 2.5 seconds. And we have the Merciless Assault rune checked or selected just because this is a physical build. And in this particular version, it does matter because we're using Convention of Elements. And Furious Charge isn't going to be our main source of damage, but every bit does help. And we're using the Seismic Slam Rumble rune. Of course, it's a physical rune, but this is going to allow us to dump all of our Fury at once and take advantage of 5 stacks at a time of the 6-piece set bonus here, which was buffed to 2,800% damage. So we're not going to go over the entire build because, again, it's subject to change. And I will be doing brand new build guides when the patch goes live, if there were enough changes to it. But for now, we're just basically looking at how good the changes are. Of course, Seismic Slam, the Bracers of Destruction, those haven't changed since this last patch either. The main changes since I've focused on this build in general were the Band of Might getting buffed all the way to 80% damage reduction. And then, of course, the 6-piece set bonus of this getting buffed. So we have 3 pieces of Immortal Kings. We have 5 pieces of Raycors, but we're getting the 4- and 6-piece bonus sets. The gems we are using: Bane of the Trapped, Bane of the Stricken, and Esoteric Alteration, because even with this, this build still isn't as tanky as I would like, and my health is pretty low on this build even after throwing a couple of Paragon points into Vitality. So I've got a couple of Vitality gems in here as well, just to bump me over 1,000,000. And then yeah, we are using Esoteric Alteration. For the passives, we're using Rampage, and because that's going to provide us good strength and toughness. We're using Relentless. This is a great skill, and it synergizes super well with Esoteric and with your Fury dump for healing. Right now we have, where is it? Life per Fury spent 3,300. And that is 3,300 per Fury spent, and boom, we're going to be dumping 204 of that at once. And then while below 35% life, All skills cost 50% less fury. Life per fury spent is doubled, and damage taken is reduced. So that is kind of a window between that and our esoteric. That's kind of a window to dump all of our fury and heal up, because we're taking a lot more reduced damage, and life per fury spent is doubled again. So that's 6,644 life per fury spent. Math is not my strong suit, but that was an easy one. And so back to the passives, we're using Animosity. Anytime we can increase fury generation for this build, that's nice, but the main bonus of this is the maximum fury by 20. Again, because this is doing 15% more damage per point of fury. So yeah, that is great. As much fury as we can. And then Nerves of Steel as a cheat death. If you find yourself tough enough and you're not really dying very often, you can swap out to Bloodthirst. You can swap out to Superstition. However, in my case, I am running Superstition on my legendary amulet. I do have a Bokathos amulet. That is an ancient that I like to run. But because of the 4-piece bonus of Immortal Kings resetting Wrath of Berserker and Ancients, we don't really need that cooldown. 2 dumps of our Fury, especially at 204, is going to reset it. And so I opted for another toughness buff. So that is just a super quick rundown of the skills of the build. It's more or less the original version of this build, with the exception of Focus and Restraint and adding in Band of Might. So we're going to check out exactly how good it is now. Before, with this build, I couldn't even survive an 80 with this exact version. Even with Band of Might, I may have not done a video on this exact version, but even with Band of Might, the way it was when it was, did it used to be 60 or 50%? I've already forgotten. Either way, I couldn't survive. The build did great damage, but yeah, I couldn't survive. And we're going to hop right into a 90. Pardon me, had to take a drink. A lot of talking. I do have a decent amount of ancient gear on, but it's not, I don't have the stats rolled super great. There's a lot of room for improvement. But yeah, we're going to jump right into a 90 and see what we can do. Go ahead and get a lot of our buffs up. We're going to wait on our Wrath of Berserker till we get in battle. Now we're not... Remember, you definitely want to have 5 stacks before you dump your Fury, unless you're needing to heal up. There's the one downfall of this build that I hate, is maintaining your charge stacks. Now we're not benefiting from the 6-piece set bonus of the Wrath of the Immortal King set, so keeping our Wrath of Berserker and Ancients up at the same time, of course, is a nice benefit, but it's not giving us that extra damage. We're not getting the set bonus damage. Of course, we're getting extra damage. Just something to keep in mind. But you can see we're able to keep it up really easily. Trying to draw this guy in. I kind of miss the Ancient Spear version of this, honestly. I liked being able to dump my Fury and do big AoE damage right around me. This is more directional. It does fan out quite a bit. And we're going to stand right here and blast that whole group with a physical roll. And, of course, we're critting in the billions now. Hundreds of billions, even. Try and stand in your Oculus ring as much as you can. We have an Oculus ring on our follower, so she's the reason we've got those going down. Every time you dump your Fury, if you can, try and stand in your Oculus ring. It's going to give you that much more damage, especially if you're on a physical roll. Now, because you're getting that huge Fury dump and huge damage bonus from your Raycor's set, you definitely don't want to be waiting every time for your physical roll. You want to still be constantly dumping your Fury, because you're still going to be doing a load of damage. And this build is great at clearing out trash. So feel free to clear out some trash while you're trying to find another elite pack. But make sure there's actually a lot of it. Don't just don't waste your time on a couple of trash packs here and there. And as I've said before in other charge videos, I like to kind of save up some stacks, because if you get an elite pack and there's a lot of density around it, you can charge once and dump all your fury really fast. And like this, for instance, boom, full fury. And you can just do that 3 or 4 times in a row and just really nuke the, kind of like this, really nuke the elite pack until you do actually run out of the fury stacks, and then you need to start charging 5 times again. You don't absolutely have to have the 5 stacks, but it is going to increase your damage immensely more. Remember, if you're not hitting only 1 unit or 3 or more units, you're not going to be resetting your charge stacks. There we go. And I'm not entirely sure which way to go. All right. Let's take a look at our toughness when we get in battle here. After charge, 545 million, and we don't have any strength stacks from our rampage right now. We'll try and remember to look at it again when we get to a full 25. I don't know if we will. There's not a lot of density right around this guy. Yeah, we lost the stacks that we had even. Don't hit me. Yeah. Trying to remember to look at it when we get to 25 stacks. Doesn't, whoops. Seem to get stuck on walls rather easily with that. Not a lot of density on this floor. This looks a little more promising than it's been. Alright, we're almost to 25 stacks. There we go. Now our toughness is about 619, 650 million depending. But remember, our toughness will skyrocket when esoteric triggers, and then it'll also skyrocket when our whatever that passive is that we've got, the toughness passive. I've forgotten the name of it right off the top of my head. You guys know what I'm talking about. If not, you can rewind the video and look. And that was enough to take him out. Doing okay. This hasn't been a great rift. Neither of these floors really held a lot of density for us. I was testing this out previously, and I had a rift. It wasn't really that great. It was a little bit better than this one, but I guess I shouldn't spoil it, but I finished it with about 5 minutes remaining. I always seem to get good rifts when I'm not actually pushing, when I'm just trying things out. And you can see we've got quite a few stacks saved up, so if we get some good density on our next elite pack, we'll be able to nuke them pretty quick. These floors can always be kind of a crapshoot. You either get a good floor or you get a lot of empty space. so far it hasn't been super great. Shielding mobs, shielding groups on a build like this really sucks since you're doing a whole lot of damage all at once. And if their shield happens to be up, when you do that damage, then you're not going to be doing that damage. And you also lose your Furious Charge stacks if they have a shield. That does not count as hitting. And there, that'll get rid of him. But we're still doing pretty good. Again, I don't think it's unfair to say this hasn't been a great rift. We haven't had super good density or anything. So imagine if we had one or two outside floors and we got good density. Or even a floor like this with good density. Yeah, I want a elite pack on that floor. Wow. Already on floor 4, so... Overall, I would say this build is much better now. And again, getting rid of focus and restraint isn't too big of a knock, as long as you're able to use a good ring of elements, convention of elements ring. Be paying attention to your ancients. You do not want them to drop because they are a source of toughness. Whoa! I thought that teleport was going to go down, but I guess not. And we should be able to end this guy right here on our physical roll. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, the only downside to Seismic Slam now is the fact that it is directional. And it does hit in your immediate vicinity right around your body. But if the enemy happens to walk away before you cast it, you will not do much damage to them. So this guy can dish out some serious damage. So yeah, without our strength stacks, we do have 545 million toughness, which is pretty good. It's not bad. It's a lot better than the original version of the build, which only had like, I don't know, 150 million toughness, 200 if you were really lucky. Whoa, that hurt. Glad that cheat death saved me. But there we go, 3 minutes left, 3 minutes 10 seconds left on a 90. What do you guys think? If you guys liked the charged barb before and you use focus and restraint, what do you think of swapping out Convention of Elements and Ring of Royal Grandeur, or swapping them out for those rings and Band of Might? So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this build, and yeah, we'll see if the buffs keep coming. Thanks guys for watching, and more good stuff to come. Take care.